Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Life Force Movement podcast. I am Tate Finley, and thank you for joining me this evening. Today, we're going to be talking about aromatherapy and essential oils and the benefit, kind of go over the history of them, and give you some insight on how you can use them for your wellness journey. Now, this particular episode, it's going to be more geared toward the ladies because essential oils is really beneficial, especially with um, depression, menstrual cramps, PMS, your central nervous system, muscle cramps and spasms and stuff like that. So I'm gonna share about two or three oils that are beneficial for that, and then show you and share with you how to use the oils in the right way and what to look out for. But before I do, please like, subscribe, and comment. So, quick history of essential oils. The three main cultures that used them originally that I've understand that's been documented is ancient Egypt, ancient India, and the ancient Hebrew culture. So in ancient Egypt, they were used for mummification, and then they were used for spiritual rites and purification rites, and so on and so forth. Then they would use, oils like cedarwood oil and sandalwood and things like that. The same thing in ancient India. They would use the same type of oils for their purification and mummification rites and stuff like that. And they didn't do mummification like the ancient Egyptians did. So they mainly used them for the purification and then in Ayurveda medicine as well. And like I said, they would use the cedar woods and sandalwoods and like in ancient Egypt, they would use frankincense and myrrh. And so these oils were kind of a staple point of that culture. And then when it got to the ancient Hebrews back in the day, they would use them for the same thing for the purification and ancient rites and so on and so forth. And they really got sophisticated with it. They would actually use them and they would only use certain oils for certain rites and they would outlaw or forbid anyone for using certain oils because they were strictly intended for spiritual purposes and for purification purposes for said culture. And it is a beautiful thing. And then it got to the Greeks and the Romans and the Europeans kind of down the line. And the beauty of it is that, and one the caveat that I want to use, excuse me, is that this information was documented. So when you look at in a lot of holistic medicine, and whether it's Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine or microbiotic medicine or whatever these kind of ancient philosophies and practices were, what happens was you had were sages and doctors and practitioners back then, thousands of years ago. They didn't have access to TV or Netflix or YouTube or anything like that. So they had time to actually observe, try different things, document, what they saw in nature, what they saw humans consume, what they tried, what worked, what didn't work. And this information was passed down and was kept in, sacred documents or sacred papyrus or whatever. And so our, archaeologists and the medical profession, they have access to these, whether they choose to use them or not in their field, because you can't have controlled studies in a lot of this stuff. So it's hard to say this works for this in a controlled study environment because there's many different variables that go into place when you start talking about, does this oil really does that, or does this herbal tea really does that. So just keep that in mind, that when a practitioner or a naturopath is saying, hey, this works, it's because it's been documented. And I've tried certain, all these different things on my clients, and I know what works and what, okay, it didn't work as well, so let me try this. So certain things, I don't want to say are trial and error, but everyone's body is different, and you're going to respond based on your DNA, and your cultural dynamics has something to do with it. Your body's going to respond to certain things differently than someone else's, and based on where that particular plant is and what geographical location that plant is, and your cultural background sometimes will have a play a part into if that really works for you or not. So that's why understanding and doing, proper assessments and scans to identify what's actually good for you is the best way to go about your wellness journey. Because what I see a lot of times is people taking a bunch of stuff and just trying a lot of different things, and they waste a lot of money and they waste a lot of time. What I specialize here at Life Force Management USA is identifying what the information, what the science has said is actually good for you. So if you're looking to get a better understanding, whether it's essential oils or what have you, please contact me and schedule a consultation, and we can get that started for you. So let's get into how to identify oils and what's good for you, what's not. So, if you're looking at an essential oil, make sure that it's coming from a plant because that's where the life force is in that plant. When that oil is extracted out of the plant, that's the best part of it, and that's where the life force is, and that's where all the healing properties are. If you get it from a synthetic source, it's not going to have that. And so you're going to be lacking in what that oil could possibly do for you because it's synthetic. And you guys know the difference between something that's organic and synthetic. So I don't have to, do some long diatribe about that. But just understand that when you're looking at oils, make sure that you ask whether you're going to a Whole Foods or Central Markets, or whatever health store that's in your particular city or state, or you're going through to like a mom and pop herb store. Just ask, hey, is this synthetic? Because sometimes you can look on these bottles and stuff, you really can't tell. You can see where it's manufactured, you can see, but you have no idea a lot of times if it's synthetic or if it's actually extracted from a plant. So keep that in mind. Now, how are oils used? They're used by inhaling them, smelling. You have a diffuser, you have the oil burning, and you're able to inhale it, and it gets into your central nervous system, and then it starts to the beneficial properties start to you start to see them and you start to feel them, and it starts to work. Or you can take them topically. So those are the two ways. Now, if you're going to take those topically, you have to understand that you need a carrier oil. So a carrier oil helps aid because the oil in its raw form may be too damaging, may be too concentrated for your skin to handle, and that's why you need a carrier oil. So with that, you would want to use a carrier oil such as, let's say, maybe an almond oil. That's a good one. Grapeseed oil, canola, or jojoba. Those are really good oils, and I can put some more in the comments for you guys. But just knowing that if you're going to use it topically, make sure that you have a carrier oil. That's very, very, very essential. I don't want anyone getting hurt or burning themselves with a concentrated oil. So just keep that in mind. So I talked about at the very beginning. This is more not, and fellas, I'll do a part two to give some essential oils that help with some of the things that we deal with on a daily and monthly basis or what have you. But I mentioned, menstrual cramps, PMS, depression, a lot of different things because, there's mood swings and there's the pollution in the air and jobs and all these things that we deal with. And sometimes we want to come home, have a glass of wine. And if you're having your glass of wine and you had a long day, ladies, let's get you a diffuser and let's get some of these oils in place. So, one of them would be basil oil. We talked about some of the things that, whether it's PMS and menstrual cramps and things like that, basil oil is really good for that. And also with inflammation, it helps clears out mucus and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a really good oil to kind of level set yourself, and if you're dealing with, a lot of times we can have us, be on our normal eating and nutritional regimen, eating well. Some of us travel, right? You travel, you're eating different foods, different restaurants, you're in a different state, different pollen, different things that are impacting you, and you get back and you feel lethargic and you feel drained. Get a diffuser, get you some basil oil. Let's clear that mucus up. Let's get some of the inflammation. Let's level set your body and get you back right. The next oil would be clary sage oil. That's really, really good, and it's really good for calming the central nervous system, helps with depression, helps with mood swings. And if you're someone that deals with a lot of muscle pain and muscle spasms and stuff like that, clary sage oil is really good. And like I said, it's one of these things to where you're not eliminating some of the other things that you're doing, your massages and stuff like that, But like having a diffuser and having these things burning and you're inhaling this really beneficial oil is helping you get through your day and get through your evenings, and it's helping to kind of level set you and get you back in that calming space that you need to be in. The last oil that I'll talk about is fennel oil, fennel, Fennel. And that oil, again, is really, really good for, like I said, all the other oils with the, I'm blushing because it's, talk about menstrual cramps and all that, but it's really good for all those things that women deal with on a monthly basis. I don't know how often, so please don't shoot the messenger. But when you start talking about also removing toxins and getting rid of toxins that may be in the air, even in the body, so having a diffuser again and burning these oils and getting your body level set is really, 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 really helpful and beneficial on your wellness journey as you're combining it with other things. So just keep in mind that these are just three oils, and there are a lot more. But again, if you're looking to understand what oils are really beneficial for you, give me a shout and we'll schedule a consultation. I will schedule a scan that will actually tell you what essential oils are actually beneficial for you, and then you will alleviate all of the guessing. And I'm really big about being efficient. And when you're on your wellness journey, a lot of things and why people get stuck or they stop is because they've tried a bunch of different things, and it's like Groundhog's Day. It just everything keeps happening over and over. They're seeing some results, then they don't see results, and so on and so forth. So let's take the guessing game out. Let's get your scan done for you so we can identify what essential oils are good for you, and you could be rocking and rolling on your wellness journey. So I hope that was beneficial and you found value in that information. And gentlemen, I will come back and do three essential oils that are good for men and good for some of the things that we deal with. And I know people think that we don't deal with stuff, but we do have monthly things and stuff, and our hormones and our testosterone are higher at certain times of the day, and so on and so forth, and the way stress impacts us and our adrenal glands and things like that. So it's good to know what essential oils and what I could be doing or what you could be doing to actually add to your wellness practice and your mindfulness and unwinding and things like that. So I look forward to bringing that back to you guys. But again, thank you for listening to this episode. And as I always say, speak your life, develop your greatness, and protect your peace at all costs. This is Tay Finley with the Life Force Movement Podcast. The key is the key. Thank you and peace.